Okay. Does anyone want to use a microphone? We're going to be a bit quiet. I think it might be a good idea.
Hi everyone, we are ELWT and these are my team members. And I am Lian. Our project is to develop a monitoring strategy to inform habitat design of a new biodiverse park. The conservation of biodiversity is of great importance. Biodiversity maintains ecological balance everywhere, and it controls the spread of pests and diseases and reduces the risk of ecosystem collapse. Biodiversity conservation can also improve the resilience of the ecosystem to the climate change. For example, the wetlands and trees can absorb and store carbon, reducing the greenhouse gas concentrations. We therefore want to stay to protect and restore the local biodiversity to ensure that people and nature can live in harmony and achieve a sustainable development. East London Waterworks Park is an underutilized industrial site. The site is surrounded by many important places for nature. For example, the Waterworks Nature Reserve to the east and the Walthamstow Marshes to the north are both important places for nature conservation. And from our site visit, we find that the local people enjoy running, walking their dogs, and spending time with nature in this park. But much of the park is now concrete. So the aim of the park is to return it to community use and transforming it to a high quality habitat, thereby supporting the restoration of local biodiversity. Let me show you about the future plan of the park. The green area will be used for the water cleaning plants, and dark blue will be used for the water storage. The light blue areas will be public swimming pools in the future. And it will be a comprehensive park, including teaching buildings, cafes, and also this area is forest schools and some bioswales in this large area. What we would like to do is to help restore the ecological function in this site by developing a suitable strategy. We will identify the key species that the park focusing on and their relationships, and provide the sub-area monitoring approach from the perspective of machine technology and as well as the volunteer participation. I think our project may attract the interest of environmental departments of the government, or maybe NGOs as well as community organizations. It is hoped that our monitoring strategy can inform the better design of a biodiverse park and serve as a reference for other areas beyond the pilot.
The ELWT has actually accomplished the ecosystem for which we choose the two of the most representative species to reflect the ecology of the ELWT. And the kingfishers that require a health baseline environment to provide with the water and the food for their survival. So we can use the kingfisher, the diversity of the kingfisher to evaluate the baseline health of the ELWT. And the total is regarding the keystone in ecosystems, and it is the excellent pest controller interdependent with the most species in the ELWP. So we can use the diversity of the toad to evaluate the connectivity between the different habitats and the health of the biotic chain. For the collections of the environment data, since the future construction plans of the ELWP will select some plant can tolerate the drought and the waterlogged conditions. And so we will collect the temperature, humidity, and the pH value of the environment in such conditions.
To conduct biodiversity surveys with limited fundings and primarily led by volunteers, several cost-effective ways can be employed. we plan to equip volunteers with smartphones or recording devices to capture the bird calls and analyze them with softwares like BirdNet and SoundSleuth. Here are different types of microphones and accessories volunteers can choose according to different budgets. To monitor our dominant species kingfisher, we suggest to use fixed location cameras. According to their habits, the best place to fix cameras is slightly above eye level relative to water surface. Utilizing motion-activated and trail cameras and setting timed intervals to shoot are great ways to save batteries and money. It is feasible to use direct observation to monitor the toad. People can use flashlights to find them according to their eye reflections. And toads have distinct calls, especially during their breeding seasons from March to July. So recording them and analyze them can help us estimate the population size and distributions. Here are some photos we took while exploring the field. Those artificial ponds allow people for closer observation. Water is the primary habitat for major species, so we decided to assess water conditions on a daily basis. Using pH test strips or kits is a cost-saving way for people to measure the pH value. And water quality test kits is also easy for people to use. Even for the green hands, they can check the signs of pollution. In response to climate change, it is necessary to use waterproof thermometer to detect the change in water temperature. Another effective way is to, as we all know, at the most of time, toad like to stay on land. They usually hide under the stones and leaves, so it's suitable for people to use gloves and spades to find them. We can also use the soil test to do terrestrial habitat recordings. Another effective way is to use peaceful traps. We plan to bury large containers to be flush with the ground and lay out with cover and proper designs. We will put them near their habitats and combine the mark recapture method using some unharmful text for individual identifications and release and recapture to do the estimation of their population size. We highly recommend to use standard forms to recording because it will make the subsequent data analysis more accurate and efficient. Oh, don't forget to monitor the tadpole. We will use GovernNet and DeepNet swimming through vegetarian to capture the tadpoles, then pour them into a tank with fresh water for easy observations. This method allows us to identify different types of toad categories and estimate the change in population size during the breeding period.
Since there are a large number of the volunteers really involve our monitoring strategies, but they have the different ability and backgrounds. So it is the costly to make all of the volunteers to have a qualified skills and technology to participate in our strategies. That's the reason why we conceive a training program based on the citizen science and should use the citizen science application to deal with the problems. At the first step, we will conduct an initial skill assessment for the volunteer to assess their current knowledges and skills in the area related to the monitoring ecology. In step 2, we will use the citizen science platform to develop a training program, such as I naturally said earlier. We will set a different module for the different types of volunteers to help their learning. In step 3, we will combine the online and offline methods to carry out on specific training on volunteer and simulate the specific user scenery to improve volunteer performance. In step 4, we will regularly collecting the feedback from the volunteer to improve our training program and methods, and work with the professional to check the data, check the quality of the data collections. In the final step, we will gradually integrate the volunteer into the specific monitoring task and based on their performance.
For the monitoring data we collected, we need to still validate the accuracy of the data. as we use citizen science and volunteers to collect the data, there might be some errors. For example, in the acoustic monitoring program, volunteers may not be able to use the equipment in all the standard measurements. Also, in the water quality monitoring program, there might be differences between different water quality samples collected by volunteers. For this possible data bias, we develop both technical and manual strategy to eliminate and minimize the errors. Firstly, we carry out data cleaning and processing for our analysts, which is very important. Also, data standardization should be used to carry out our evolution of our strategy to other sites. Secondly, statistical models should be used to eliminate the outliers and to identify whether there are a pattern of errors of volunteers. For example, a group of volunteers may use the same incorrect collecting method, resulting in the same incorrect data type. And thirdly, to the extent when the budgets are sufficient, we consider combining artificial intelligence with citizen science. Camera traps are good examples of how AI's image recognition capabilities can save significant time cost and validate the manual identification process, and which further improving the occurrence. As the complexity of the park, the environment is complicated. There might be some errors that cannot be solved by mathematically. There might be some different data due to the different time and seasons. And also, volunteers that are not fully understand the collecting method may result in different data result. Therefore, regularly including experts in the field and work with volunteers are necessary, and which can lead to a better accuracy.
There are still challenges in our plan. For example, the use of machine technology may encounter the equipment failures frequently to the interruption or inaccuracy of the data collection. Therefore, care need to be taken to maintain and update the monitoring equipment on a regular basis. Secondly, ensure that data can be compatible and integrated into a larger scale of monitoring is critical to the wider application of our strategy to apply on other areas. So data format and standardization of the collection method is important and need to be considered. We may also face resource constraints. Our strategy now is the low cost and volunteer-led strategy. But if we can have more money, we could engage people with relevant knowledge backgrounds and upgrade the machines to be able to facilitate the accuracy of our monitoring results.
In expanding our monitor strategy beyond the pilot, customization and flexibility is essential. Adaptation of different ecosystems and species are necessary. Also, communication participation and acceptance is quite important. A good communication channel can largely improve the sustainability of the program. And at last, establishing of cooperation networks with local governments, NGO, and academic institutions, as well as community organizations, can also improve the sustainability. In the end, our program will have a good impact on biodiversity, and it will be a good biodiverse habitat. It will be good biodiverse habitat once completed, and it can raise public awareness of environmental protection and improve the well-being of the local residents. And that's all.
Yeah, well done. Got some questions for this team?
Sorry, I've got questions tonight. If the ELWP plan is successful in improving biodiversity, what kind of trends would you expect to see in your data? So for example, in the water quality data or in the bird data?
So we just collect some data to provide some information to the ELWP because we just make a monitoring strategy. We just provide the data and how to use the data and how to use the change for the ELWP. It is their abilities, their responsibilities. So our work is the monitoring the data.
Okay, so I think what I'm trying to get at is there a specific question that your data is trying to answer?
Yeah, because the monitoring area and the plan area is different area, but like 40 years ago, they're the same circumstances. So it seems like we are monitoring that in future we build the area, use our initial plans, it will be what situation that our data is looking for.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
So with the bird recording data, are you specifically looking at what different species there are, or is it like richness or abundance? What are you aiming to gather?
Oh, because at first we try to do the to count the different species, how many species we have in those areas. But with the time goes by, we identify our dominant species. So we later we will focus on the kingfisher as our dominant species. But if we have enough time, extra time or extra money, yeah, we will do the identification of different types of birds that we will ask volunteers to capture different bird calls and use softwares to identify the types of them.
So I might have missed it, so forgive me if I did. How does the machine learning bit fit into your plan that you mentioned towards the end, and how does that work with the project being mainly volunteer led, and how would you ensure those skills could be used?
I think there are multiple angles. The first one is the one I have mentioned, the image recognition capability. If we monitor the birds, we use camera traps and we can make the count by machine we don't need to let volunteers count each image, which will cost a lot of time. And on the second one is after we got our data, we can use the machine learning to validate again that if there are maybe some volunteers made some mistakes, or maybe that they will result in some data bias. And that's all.
You spoke a lot about direct observation to monitor toads. Are you also thinking of using some of the camera traps for the birds to monitor toads as well, or focusing the camera traps truly on bird species?
Yeah, we should because we refer to some references, the peaceful trap is more common to use to control the frogs and the toads. And if the whole plan is based on the limited fundings, so we only try to find different types of ways to measure different species. But if we have enough time and enough money, I think fixed cameras can fix it.
So you spoke a lot about if you had more money and if you had more funding. If I was just wondering if you were going to go to a funder, say in a year's time, and show them how successful your project was, what would you show them? Would you show them number of volunteers that took part, or would you show them your actual data? I'm just wondering what does success look like in your project?
Maybe we will give them an overview of the final result of the park. And also we will
maybe we can give them the comparison of the initial and the final differences of this place. And I think the pictures of the site and the people are playing in this area is the powerful evidence. Yes, because it's like a concrete and nothing in it. And after building up a very biodiverse park.
And the initial plan we showed is not, that we are not only make changes to let them back from the concrete to nature as they passed years ago. We also want to increase the biodiversity at this area. So the people they give us, like charity organizations or some give us money, they will know what their money paying for. They will see they will see the progress. They will see the advance we did, and they will feel that, oh, my money makes sense to make this area, make this whole world better. Yeah.
Thank you.
Time for one more.
Will you do any monitoring of other parts along the river as like comparison between your site and
Yes, actually the design of the park is informed by some neighboring sites, like it's called a middle sex beds and other like happening marshes, and I mentioned two places about Waterworks nature reserve, and they are all the reference of the design in this park. And this park. There are maybe the places surrounding this park are all doing biodiversity park. Only this area we are focusing on this
And we have public databases that shared by the neighboring places. They share, like you can search online, they share many data of their biodiversity indicators. That makes sense.
Brilliant. Well done. Who's up next? Do we need to do a test run? See if we can get Merlin.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent.